Hello, everyone. Welcome. My name is Darcy.
And I'm Ramari.
And this is Texas City Tells. This is our very first episode. And thank you so much for joining us. We're very excited to have Leslie Ornelas with us. She is with the United Way, Galveston County, Mainland, and she's the executive director. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for inviting me.
First episode.
Yay!
Okay, can you tell people what United Way is?
Absolutely. A lot of people traditionally think that United Way just raises funds in the community and we disperse funds to agencies, and that's the farthest from the truth.
Okay.
A large majority of our job is to vet nonprofits in the community and make sure that they are using the donor dollars the best way it's supposed to be, and it's going for the programs that it's intended to. So, a nonprofit can't take your donation and then just turn around and, purchase office furniture or take their staff to lunch. It's actually tied to a program. And then, of course, we make sure that they're in good standard with the IRS, that they've done their audits, that they've done their 990s, that they're in full compliance.
Right.
And there's a lot of that you would think that is just done behind the scenes without United Way, but it's not. So when you just directly give to a nonprofit, it's basically an unrestricted gift.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a large part of what we do is we do the homework. We make sure that they're in good standing and that they're going to use the funding in the correct way. And then, of course, another large part of what we do is the fundraising piece, going out and asking for funds.
Yeah. Man, thank you for everything that you do.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You don't think about that, the behind the scenes, and how you need to verify that money's going to where it's going. And I didn't have a clue until I joined the allocations panel.
Yes.
And that just it enlightened me to the whole entire process. And can just anybody join the allocations panel? Are y'all still needing people?
We absolutely are every year. So anyone that's a stakeholder in the community, if they live or work in Galveston County,
Okay.
and they want to help, better the lives of Galveston County residents on the mainland. I will say that every single year, we're always having some volunteers that have to leave, they get moved around or whatever reason. So we're always looking for new volunteers.
Yeah, it's something that I feel, like you said, you have an impact in the community and you see where this money gets dispersed and who it directly affects. Mm-hmm. And so just to be on that panel, and it feels really good to do that.
It
so
does.
I'm very thankful that I have a little spot.
Yeah.
Okay.
I joined the allocations committee this year because Darcy has been on it for a few years, and she talks about how amazing it is to just hear directly from some of these nonprofits and what programs they actually offer and what they plan to do with your money. Yeah.
How many agencies do y'all, I know manage probably isn't the right word, but like maybe oversee or?
Right, so we administer the United Way funds, and there's 25 partner agencies this year.
Okay. Wow.
We had 31.
Okay.
And immediately, with COVID going on, a lot of agencies lost a lot of resources. And so, trying to make, shortcuts here and there and didn't realize that it was hurting their organization. And so we had a few agencies who no longer are in compliance because they tried to save dollars and didn't do an audit for a few years, and just things like that are very serious that you're supposed to do. And so I understand the need to make cutbacks, but I think they were just maybe done in the wrong areas.
Yeah.
So we're now down to 25 agencies.
That still is a lot.
Yeah.
Yes.
How does an agency possibly become someone that you administer funds to?
So every year we have a portal that we use, and anyone that's interested in applying, they usually contact our office, and there's a link on our website too if you're interested in requesting funds. And so we give them that link, they create an account, and so before they can even get to the application, it's asking them information about, their Patriot Act and how many board members they have. And so we go through an entire vetting process before they even get to the application. And every year they have to fill out a new application and reapply.
Mm-hmm. And these are, can you speak on some of like the agencies? These are people like the Boy Scouts. I'm trying to think who was on our page.
Village.
Yeah, Independence Village. Name some other people.
Sure. So we have the Salvation Army. They actually have a few programs through us, and we just approved a new program through them with the Boys and Girls Club.
Okay.
So we're really excited about that. We have CASA of Galveston County, Child Advocacy Center of Galveston County. We have Big Brothers Big Sisters. We have the Arc of the Gulf Coast. NAMI Gulf Coast, we have Hospice Care Team. So we have a large array of agencies that provide direct services like rent and utilities, but then also some like Family Service Center that do counseling, hospice care. So we try to cover the entire spectrum of the services that someone might need. It's kind of hard because you can't cover every single thing.
Yeah. So, and I mean, as you just mentioned, some of those people, you have a hand in quite literally almost every corner of the community. What made you want to get involved with United Way?
So I actually, not a lot of people know that I was a client of United Way immediately when I moved down to this area. I came from Austin, and I had just had my son, and I was battling postpartum depression really, really bad. And so my employer at the time, she said, you know, you're going through a lot, you're trying to get yourself better, I understand, but I can't hold your position. And so she let me go. And then 2 weeks later, my husband got laid off at his job. So we found ourselves with a newborn baby, can't pay rent. You know, this was early 20s. Where you don't have a lot in savings, and you don't. I didn't have a lot of family to turn to, and so he actually had his godfather lives in this area, and so he, you know, reached out and said, "Hey, we need some help," and we relocated down here. And when I first came to Galveston County, I was walking up and down Texas Avenue when the Salvation Army was there with my little baby buggy. And I stopped in one day, and Captain Catherine Adams, I'll never forget her. She greeted me at the front door, and she said, "What do you need help with?" And the tears just started.
Broke down.
And I was like, I don't even know. I need everything. I need food. I need diapers. I need employment. And she said, well, I can give you a job for sure. You know, she said, I see that you're good-hearted and that you speak very clearly, and you would probably really empathize with clients. And so she gave me a job.
Wow.
And then that helped foster a relationship with United Way. And so because of my knowledge of the network of agencies, I was able to reach out and get help with WIC, and I got some help with Medicaid at the time, and just people were put into my life to help me, you know, elevate myself. They weren't doing it for me, but just helping me and giving me a helping hand. And it is hard sometimes to try to navigate getting help if you're not really sure, or if you don't want to ask for help. It can be quite hard. And so just amazing people at the time that were put into my life. And so I call Galveston County home now, because you welcomed me with open arms, and it's where we've made our family and bought a house recently, and just things are much better, and I want to be able to help others in that same position.
What a good story.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. And I think it's really important, because sometimes people maybe second guess giving because they feel like, oh, well, that money is just going to pacify someone. Well, no, that money is going to actually help someone, and it's a stepping stone for them.
Literally can change lives.
We actually do training with our agencies to break the cycle of poverty, because it can be a generational way of thinking. You know, when you turn 18, you apply for food stamps, you apply for Medicaid, you have children. That's just kind of like the way that some people are trained mentally to just survive. And so we have conversations with our agencies that if this is not a true emergency, and they're just coming once a year around the same time and calling it an emergency, we have to break that cycle, and that's not the best use of donor dollars. We're here to help people get out of poverty and to better their lives.
Give them the tools. Wow.
Yeah.
So how long has United Way, Galveston County, Mainland, been here in Texas City?
So I've tried to go back on a lot of records, and I'm seeing 1956 and 1958. It's some documents say 56, some say 58, and I think it's because that was when it was maybe originally chartered, and then they formed a board and filed the. So it's around 1956 is when this United Way was formed. Yeah.
And how many people do you have on your team?
We now have 3 full-time staff and a part-time employee. Prior to COVID, we did have 5 full-time staff, and so there was a transition change in February, and so I was able to kind of absorb 2 of those positions myself. And then just some of our team stepped up and said, you know, hey, I can take on a little bit of this and that until we get back to the standard, because COVID really hit us pretty hard. It really did.
I bet.
And what other ways did COVID impact your business?
It impacted us actually positively in some ways. Like now we know we can do some of our work remotely if needed.
Oh, that's true.
It was a whole new thing for us. And so immediately, you know, we knew we didn't have the technology necessary. So we were able to get some grants to help with that. And so living on the coast, if we're ever faced with a natural disaster, we know now that we're set up to work remotely. And we also know that we can make it, we can survive if there is an impact like that. We've been able to structure and move some things around.
Adapt.
Yes, absolutely.
Where is the actual building in Texas City?
It's located at 2800 Texas Avenue, and it's the old TDECU Credit Union, so a lot of people know it when I say that.
Nice.
So it's
nice.
the labor union.
I was thinking of it, it's by Mainland Tool.
Yes, 2 doors down from Mainland Tool.
Yeah. Look for their big tall cranes.
Right.
And I'm like, here it is. Nice.
So how long have you been employed with United Way Mainland?
October will make 13 years.
Wow.
Yeah, so I was, whenever I got offered the position at Salvation Army, I immediately, with no experience, just, I guess, real life experience, I was brought on as a case manager. So just able to use what I had recently gone through to help others. And so I was there for 2 years. And then after Hurricane Ike, a position opened up slowly through some SSBG funds. And so I applied as a temporary employee. And then when that grant ran out, the director at the time, she said, I'd love to keep you on, and offered me a great position.
Wonderful. So. And I know y'all work very closely with the chamber as well. And of course with us, the city.
Yes. We try to foster those relationships. We have kind of a hard task at hand, is that especially with just 3 of us, we have 13 communities that we have great relationships with.
Wow.
But it's a lot of time management.
Yeah.
I have to make sure that I'm, fostering relationships with all of the mayors and all of the city council and the fire departments and the police departments. And so it's a lot of work, but we're up for the task.
You brought up fire department.
Yes.
So that sparked my memory. We are going to do Firefighter games coming up soon. Yes. Tell us about it.
So it is the 7th annual Firefighter Games with the Texas City Fire Department. And this year we are also combining that with the Public Safety Law Fest. It's a cook-off, and so it will actually be a sanctioned event for the first time. Sweet. We just had a meeting this morning. We're super excited to announce that. And so the Firefighter Games will be the September 9th and 10th. And for a complete list of events, you can go to our website, which is www.uwgcm.org. And there is a link there for you to go to Eventbrite, and it gives you all of the sponsorship levels and all of the events. But it's a really fun, free event for the community.
And we're going to do cornhole again this year under the lights, the new 6th Street lights. That's going to be really cool. Antique fire trucks, barbecue cook-off like you mentioned, and then the water ball.
Those are always so fun.
Yeah, bring a towel because you're going to get soaked, but it's a lot of fun. Definitely neat to see.
Yeah, the kids love it.
Yeah.
I was always my first year out there. I was so excited to see the kids kind of like in the puddles, and they're playing with the water, and it's just it's super hot usually, and it's a really fun day.
Yeah, it's gonna be good.
Yep.
Well, I know that you're a busy woman, so what is something that you do in your downtime?
In my downtime, I love to cook. It relieves stress for me. I'm not the best cook, but I mean,
hey, what's your favorite thing to make?
So over the COVID.
Did you learn how to make bread?
I learned how to make homemade tortillas.
Dang, that's better than bread.
Okay.
And I don't use the press. I actually roll them out.
What?
So I make it all from scratch.
I know.
Authentic.
Watch out.
A few of my friends were like, there's a white wings recipe that's like nope, we're doing it completely from scratch.
Exactly.
And so we've learned, my husband and I, we've learned to roll them out and make them ourselves. And so they're really good once you've had homemade, of course. You don't go back to the package.
No.
So that's my favorite thing.
All right, well, when are you inviting me over?
I was going to say, wink, wink.
Exactly.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
It's got me hungry now.
That and just spend time with the family. I was in school, so when I started at United Way, a few years at United Way, my mentor and the previous director, he kind of encouraged me to go back to school, which I did. Had very little education, and so 7 years I was going to school full time. And so just in May I graduated with my MBA. So now I'm finding myself with free time, and I'm like, what do I want to do with my time? So I'm reading and spending time with the family. It's super fun.
Awesome.
What gives you the motivation to keep going?
I think just seeing how far that I have personally grown, and then my family. Sure. I know that the situation that we were in the past, when needing help, I never want to get back to that point. And I know there's a lot of families out there that don't have the resources that I was equipped with, but I want to make sure that I'm, returning that favor and just, continuing to grow both personally and professionally. Even though I'm done with school, I'm always continuing to learn. And so it's a challenge, but I love doing it.
Who do you turn to for advice?
I have a really great mentor that, I've worked with for many, many years. And so I still will call on and, what do you think about this?
Yes.
And, am I making a mistake? And typically their answer is go with your gut.
Right.
Do what you think is best. You've been doing it long enough. You know the community. You know the needs of the community. Just trust your gut. And so having a mentor has really been helpful.
Are you also mentoring others? Because I feel like you definitely would be certainly capable and an inspiration.
So I do have someone that reaches out to me quite often and don't really know if they take my advice or
Right.
not, because, you know,
Right.
it's like, I'll give you my advice, but I have been asked to do quite a few things at College of the Mainland with
Okay.
their students, because I'm an alum over there. So they did a women in business
Okay.
workshop last year, and I was one of the speakers. And so just being able to share what I've learned and the mistakes I've made
Yeah.
that I don't want others to have to
Right.
follow. So
Right.
Yeah.
it's always fun to just share what you've gone through.
What, in your opinion, do you think is the like biggest challenge or issue facing our community?
You know, coming from the Austin area, the first thing that popped into my head when I came down here is, where's the public transportation? Like I was used to the metro buses, and you
Right.
didn't even have to own a car. It was just the way of life. And so that was a complete culture shock to me when I came down here. But I will say now that I've been here in the community for now almost 16 years, is there is a lot of resources for mental health, but I feel like there's still a stigma for people who are dealing with mental health, and we've seen it, you know, just really multiply because of COVID.
Yeah.
You know, I have people all the time who'll call and they're asking for rent or utilities, and after you talk to them for a few minutes, you find out that the root cause is actually a mental health issue, and they don't know where to turn. And so, you know, I do a lot of referring to Family Service Center, and then we have some other partnering agencies that will give them the resources too.
Man.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
I know I moved to Texas in 08, and one of the culture shocks was that there's no sidewalks. Like, I'm used to having that connectivity on streets. So
Yeah.
I get what you mean by no public transportation, not even for walking
Yeah.
Yeah.
or safely riding your bike. Now we have, like,
Right.
the bike lanes, but I think that's maybe only 3-4 years old.
Yes. I think it's in the works. We're trying hard to get sidewalks.
Yeah,
What
little
would
by little.
what would you say customer service means to you?
So for me, the motto that the customer is always right does not apply for me. I feel like as long as, because our customers could be a donor, it could also be a client. So you never know when you get that phone call if you're going to be referring or if you're going to be taking a large check or a donation.
Yeah.
So for me, customer service is just, you know, engaging with every single person the same, giving them equal opportunity to have that experience, a healthy experience with the United Way, and then to just be empathetic. So if there is someone that is really truly at the worst place in their life, which I've been, is like, I need someone who's not going to judge me, and
Right.
someone that will listen to me as busy as they may be. You need to feel as if you're the most important phone call I've had all day long.
Right,
That to
right.
me is customer service.
And I will say that I feel like y'all know how to pick them, because even, you know, with Chris, now you and your other staff that I've met personally, I always feel welcome. You feel that warmth that you don't always get treated with. And I can't even imagine, like, people coming from different circumstances or being in a time of need.
Yeah.
So that I can see where that's very important. And I feel like everybody on your staff, you know, meets that. They get that check for sure.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You have to really have a passion for nonprofit work. You know,
Oh, yeah.
it's not, you don't get into it for a paycheck, that's for
Right.
sure. But, you know, as long as you bring that empathy and that compassion and that desire to help others,
Yeah.
then I feel like it just kind of comes out naturally.
I'll tell you. So every time I serve on the panel, I leave and I'm like, what am I doing with my life? I see all of these people with these organizations literally changing lives and touching people and just, you know, moving mountains and serving their community. And I'm like, what am I doing? Okay, yeah, I got a little seat on this panel, so that's cool.
Now,
But
you wouldn't believe that the panel, to me, if
Golly.
someone were to ask me the most important thing that we do, it's the vetting process. That is the most important piece of
Yeah.
it, because United Way has built a name over their hundreds of years that United Way has been around, and it's because of the accountability. And that wouldn't happen without volunteers. There's no way that my staff and I could go through all of those applications and make
Oh,
those
yeah,
decisions.
no.
Right.
So you don't realize you're kind of underscoring your importance there.
oh, you're too kind.
So what is your ultimate goal?
I think my ultimate goal is just to make sure that those who are finding themselves now or in the future in a position that they need help, that they're treated the same that I was, and they were shown that caring spirit.
Yeah.
They were given the same opportunities to advance their life and to make changes. And I've heard some stories of people that have asked for help and they weren't treated so kind, and that's something that I would love to completely do away with. You know, that you should, if you're treating people in that way, then you're not in the you're not in
Yeah.
the right field. You need to find
Absolutely.
something else.
Right. It's not for you.
How can someone donate?
So if someone is interested in donating, they go to our website, again, uwgcm.org, or we're always looking for volunteers. That I can't put a value on volunteers. And so we have some of our local, Valero and Marathon, and some of the larger companies are always reaching out to us and asking us how can they give back and volunteer. And it's those opportunities that they provide to us where we're able to make connections with people in the community. We have a veteran that we're working with now, and so I can't leave the office 3 to 4 times a week to go run by and check on him. He doesn't have phone, and so just having volunteers that I can call on and say, hey, do you mind swinging by here and going to check on him and just
Right.
make sure that he doesn't need anything. It's very powerful, and it's there's no price tag to that.
Yeah. No, that's incredible.
Absolutely.
Man, what a good first episode, for real. Knocked it out the park.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I appreciate your transparency and everything that you're doing for our community.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I was trained well, I feel. And again, I was once a donor. So before my life spiraled out of control, I was working for HEB, and I was giving through the United Way campaign. And it was funny, I didn't even really understand what it was.
Yeah.
I just knew that the pledge card was thrown at me, and
Right.
I was like, why not? I'll never see it. Just get it taken out of the check. And then I turned into a client, and then I started working for one of their member agencies, and now I'm running the organization. So I feel like I have a unique perspective.
Yeah, absolutely.
Where I've done the full
A full
360.
circle.
Right.
Like I can understand what someone is going through and what compels someone to want to give. So for me, it all goes back to accountability.
I don't have any more questions.
Well, one more time, can you tell listeners where you're located and how they can find you through social media?
Sure. So we are located at 2800 Texas Avenue in Texas City, although we service the entire Galveston County Mainland region. Just because we're located in Texas City, we have 13 communities that we serve. Right. And we are on Facebook, we're on Instagram, we're on LinkedIn, and so you can find us with the handle UWGCM. And also, if you go to our website, there's some quick links at the bottom that can take you to our social media pages.
Wonderful.
Awesome.
Thank you so very much.
Thank
You're welcome.
you.
Thank y'all for having me.
Thank you again to Miss Leslie Ornelas for being our very first guest here at Texas City Tales. Again, she is the Executive Director of United Way, Galveston County, Mainland. We are so thankful that you came. We want to thank the City of Texas City for sponsoring this podcast. You can catch us every Wednesday on the city's Facebook page, Instagram, YouTube, city website, and anywhere podcasts are streamed. If there is a small business, an entrepreneur, or someone doing amazing work in Texas City that you would recommend for us to interview, please drop them in the comments below. See you next time. Bye.
Bye.